Hi everyone, welcome back. We're about to voice our opinions and listen to yours. I'm Charlotte.
And I'm Anton.
We're here again today with Adam, our amazing tutor. He's going to introduce our topic for today.
Oh, amazing tutor. Thank you very much. So today we are going to be talking about something which is quite sensitive, which it can be quite triggering as well. So just sort of have that pre-warning out there. But today we're going to talk about mental health. And the reason that we are going to be talking about mental health is because as college students, we are looking at wrapping up the courses, so which means lesson finishes and you go on your very well-deserved 6 or 7 week break. I don't know how long it is for college students these days. I lose count. Which means that a lot of students sort of lose their stability, i.e. their routine, their sort of sense of normality. And you sort of get left to your own devices, which can be triggering for some. It can be difficult for some. A lot of students, and if I relate back to myself when I was a wee young nipper,
Back in my day,
15 years ago. 15 years ago, we didn't have the internet. But if I remember when I was like 13, 14, 15, 16 and all that good age, that's my holidays. I mean, I wouldn't say I found it difficult, but, you know, it was definitely a weird experience when you look back on it, really, isn't it? That you do lose that normality, especially when you spend like 10 months.
Yeah, the structure leaves you.
Yeah.
The structure of going to college every day.
Yeah, it's like when I take annual leave, like we look forward to it for ages, just like you guys look forward to summer, and like, oh my god, yeah, sunshine, 6 weeks or 6 or 7 weeks of like
sunshine, lollipops, and
So yeah, that was an amazing actually voice note there by Anton. I'm gonna stick that's my ringtone. So completely lost my train of thought. Yeah, so we as much as we look forward to the time off for summer and the time off for Easter and Christmas and all that good stuff, we do realise once we're sort of right in the middle of it that how much we rely on our routine, and how much of not having that routine can actually affect us in lots of different ways. Naturally, some people thrive having no routine, some people don't. So Charlotte and Anton has 100% of the credit of thinking of this idea. I'm simply just here to sort of look at it from the college perspective about how mental health can affect people and what the college can offer, because believe it or not, even though you finished your course, we don't close our doors. We are still here. We are still working. So, I'm going to pass it on to one of these guys. I'm going to start with Charlotte. So, Charlotte, quickly tell me about summer and plans.
Yeah, I'm a bit boring. I'll just be working more, but I'll be going on days out, and I've got a holiday at the end. So.
Oh, nice. Where's your holiday to?
Lake District.
Oh, so jealous. So very jealous. But so I suppose that's quite good for you because you still have sort of that work structure.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people probably won't. And I know the socialising aspect of it as well will probably get lower for a lot of people.
Yes. What about you, Anton? What are you?
Well, so far don't have any like these big plans, but essentially, once I'm off, which will be very soon. I'll mostly just be spending time at home, really. Occasionally just going out and about, like walking around city centre and all that stuff. Just spending time with my family and just, enjoying the freedom and just finding stuff to occupy myself with, which I think in itself would be an adventure. Finding something to do.
You can tell that I'm older than you guys because you've made plans for your summer, and my plans for any time off away from the college is a sensible lie-in followed by a huge
takeaway.
All right, Anton, you didn't need to read me like that. My gosh. I'm going to edit that out so my personal trainer doesn't hear. But yes, a takeaway. A sensible lie-in, a cup of coffee, and then, just never really make plans for the day, and that's sort of the problem with it. As much as I don't like to admit it, I would probably say that I'm someone that needs a routine, just like a lot of people do. I need to be knowing what I'm doing on a Monday, Tuesday, and a Wednesday. And as much as I love a good lie-in, as much as I love a good day off to mooch around and do what I want, I do find myself lost in the sauce, so to speak, when I don't have that college structure. So I understand and I relate to people that find that difficult. And I always relate it back to maybe the first lockdown, if you remember. 3 years ago, I know time is moving too fast and we're all getting a little bit too old. When everywhere just closed its doors and we had to stay at home, and nobody knew what was going on, and would we say prisoners? Is that a bit extreme? Prisoners in our own home? Depends which way you say.
Kind of. I mean, essentially, it's hard to look at it at a different angle. I mean, boxed in your own little box, essentially. Can't go out. And even if you do go out, where can you go? What's open?
What was it? You was allowed to take one walk a day.
Yeah, it was, yeah, something like
It was
that.
something silly like that. I mean, I suppose looking back at now, it was a little bit silly. At the time, it was deadly essential. But yeah, it was one walk a day. No, obviously, now that we've been past that, it seems ludicrous that was ever in that situation that was told when and where we couldn't leave our house and where could we go, who could we see. But a lot of people struggled during that time. I did. I gained about 5 stone. We'll blame the COVID for that. And obviously a lot of other people struggled mentally because they don't really have that routine, that social aspect. And if you think back to it, literally one day you was going to work, the next day you was told that work has to close, and that was it.
It was like an immediate structure change.
It was. I remember specifically, I was working over the bridge. I was doing trading coordinating for, so I won't name drop the company name, but I was working for a very big company worldwide, and was there working on the Monday. Berger, which is Boris Johnson, just for those that don't understand the lingo. He made his announcement at 6 o'clock. And then that was it.
In the morning?
At 6 o'clock in the evening on a Monday night.
Oh.
And then that was it. It was like a case of ringing people up saying, sorry, don't come to work. Go home, stay home, don't leave the house.
Cool, bro.
Cool, bro, indeed, yeah. And at first it was great, do you know what I mean? At first you're thinking, oh yeah, this is a holiday. It's, fully paid.
And it gets boring.
It got boring
Real quick.
Yes, I was off for a total of 4 months, and I know some people had it a lot better and a whole lot worse than me, but I was off for a total of 4 months in a row, and by the time, I never thought I'd say this, and when that call came saying, can you come back to work? I was like, yes, I can. But
Let me in.
Banging up the doors, let me in. I need that stability, but, I consider myself to be a fairly mentally strong person to deal with that type of stuff. I'm quite resilient, but, I struggled. So I would imagine, and I know for a fact actually that a lot of other people did. I was lucky to have sort of a friend group that I gamed online with. That was my social life, and it still is to this day, in all fairness. A lot of people didn't have that, and, and I suppose when you relate back to the summer holidays and stuff, some people are sort of experiencing that, maybe obviously to a lot lesser extent, but it's a trigger for a lot of people.
True.
I can understand why a lot of people struggle, especially with the knowledge of the different types of mental health and the different scale and spectrums of it all.
And how people react to it on different ways for different people is just huge.
Yes, absolutely. It's everybody reacts to everything slightly different, and or good or for bad. And it's important to. And one thing that I always relate back to, and I make this quite known socially, that the only social life that I have is I game online with my friends. Occasionally I go out and see them, or I might post something on, the only social media that I have is LinkedIn. And the other thing that I really push out is kindness. It's being kind to one another.
Good vibes.
Good vibes. And, those people that probably met me face to face will say, no, but you're a bit angry sometimes, and you're a bit, you're a bit this and you're a bit that. And I was like, yeah, but, I'm always kind. So, yeah, kindness is truly the what we should all be striving for. And
it's what we all want, and it's something we should all be giving to everyone.
Absolutely. I would never want to live in a world where kindness is mistaken for weakness.
True.
The most strongest people in the world are those that are kind. Yeah. And kindness comes into many shapes and forms, and every person in the world, including myself, and every single person that works with this college, attends this college, and it lives in Hull, and the rest of the world always underestimates the impact of kindness.
Yeah.
And they get shocked when they see it, because I do it. I don't know for a fact other people do it. That kindness truly has that power to turn that frown upside down in simple man terms and really make someone's day, week, month, year. And, people don't forget kindness. They forget the angry stuff. They forget the times when you've been horrible to people.
Oh, yeah.
You heal, you move on. Nobody forgets it when you're being kind to them. They always remember.
One of the rules of life.
One of the rules of life, indeed. So one of the things what I wanted to sort of discuss on here is the college's resources.
Services.
Yes, college's resources and services, which I will admit for the purpose of this tape, I had to refresh myself with the email address just off the top of my head, just because my memories, I'm getting old now, I'm 10-30 this year, so my memory's not as good as it used to be. But, for those that are listening, whether or not you are a tutor or a student or whomever, mental health support is available everywhere. And it's probably, I would say, the hidden epidemic in the UK and further beyond. And it needs to be recognised as such, regardless of how big or how small it's affecting you, regardless of whether or not you feel it's crippling or if it's just that niggling voice in your head. I think one of the things I'm most really conscious of is encouraging people to speak up about it, because speaking up Just like the old saying goes, a problem shared, a problem halved is 90% of the battle. Yes, nobody can physically sort out your life problems for you. Nobody can. You know, we all go through stuff. Nobody can solve the world and its issues, but we can talk about them. We can look at things from a different perspective, and it's incredibly important to do so. So one of the things that I am going to push out on this this podcast, and you can see, if you can hear, if you're paying attention, my mouth just got really close to the microphone, so you'll be able to hear every single syllable, is the email address for the college's mental health services, which is listen@hull-college.ac.uk, which is an email address that you can email any issues, problems, questions, queries, even if you just want to chat. And it's the same thing that I say to my students. Charlotte and Anton come back me up on this. One of the things that I always say is that you can email me for whatever reason, which
Correct.
people do. People email me with chats and questions, you know.
In the middle of the night, just...
In the middle of the night, I think my record is 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, my record is 4 o'clock in the morning, which I received an email. Obviously, I did not get answered at 4 o'clock in the morning, but, you know, that's my record. And it always gets responded to. Maybe not at 4 o'clock in the morning because I'm probably fast asleep, but when I wake up, and same with this email address for the college, it gets picked up on, and you know, there is support there. And I don't think it gets pushed enough, really, in between sort of from student to student. We don't talk about it enough. We presume everyone's okay, and we're not. Life is painful for everyone. Life is painful for all of us, so it's really important to look out for one another, look out for your friends, look out for your colleagues, look out for your classmates, and all of that. As well as the college's internal as well, there's also the mental health crisis team, which is specifically for adults aged 18 to 64. So not to worry, if you are an old student, you do not get cut off, you do not get left behind.
We're all in this together.
Yes, I was so tempted to sing High School Musical then as well, but I'm not going to. You'd be appreciative of that. There is a number that you can call, which is 0800 138 0990. Or there is a website which is available if you just Google mental health services in Hull. There's also the CAMS crisis service for young people aged under 18 for those that are experiencing emotional distress and are struggling to cope. The number for that is 01482 301 701. And there's also the national services such as Samaritans, Young Minds and Papyrus. So there's the point of me saying that is that there's always services available. And obviously mental health is sort of an umbrella term for all the different factors that come to play. You know, when we talk about mental health, we could talk about anxiety, we could talk about depression, we could talk about low mood. Or the other end of the scale, we could talk about like things like bipolar depression or schizophrenia or dissociation disorders or personality disorders. So the blanket term for mental health is so wide. You know, it does cover a lot of range, and you know, a lot of people presume that what they suffer from doesn't quite cover that mental health umbrella, but it does.
But essentially, anything that just doesn't help you, it just makes you just, you know, not feel well. I mean,
I'm only human. You know, as teachers, I'm a human being too. You know, I suffer from low moods and all that just as much as the next person. I won't go into the nitty gritty, but you know, I am a human being just as much as many tutors are, and many tutors are making out some of our tutors are robots. No, they're not. All our tutors are human beings, and you know, with souls, with hearts and working brains and all of that. So, you know, we're all human beings, and we all feel the same way that other people feel. You know, and one of the things that I'm really conscious of as a teacher is having that open front with people, you know, being sort of receptive to one another. So being able to sort of relate to the students, you know, because I remember my age when I was 16, 17, 18, and those weren't my best years. So, you know, I would hate to miss anyone if they was perhaps going through stuff.
Yeah, and I think that communication with the students that you give as well is very important, because, I mean, not everyone will think that they want to go to those services. So just, you know, if you are listening and you do need that help, or maybe you don't think you do, talk to your tutor. They can refer you to.
Absolutely. Or you can refer yourself if you wanted to. Any member of staff can refer you, and I've filled out that form enough times. It's a 30-second job.
Better than doing nothing.
Better than doing nothing. The thing about the college's services, you know, we do offer counselling, cognitive behavioural therapy, amongst others. Even if you find that it's not for you, it's always best to try. Always best to give it a go rather than just having a blanket no. You know, it's a service there to be used.
For free.
For free, yes, absolutely. Aye, and what I always say about anything that's free, if we need it, use it. Use it, need it. Whatever, just it's there. I would really recommend anyone that would feel that they would benefit from it to use it, because, you know, life is difficult enough for everyone. You know, life is let's be honest, the world is a horrible place. You know, you click on I always relate this, like you click on the Channel 6 news, or Channel 6 news, Channel 6, there's no Channel 6.
Channel 4.
Channel 4, yeah, let's go with Channel 4. Yeah, you click on the news, whatever channel, there's a war going on. There's politicians fighting over who's the worst politician available. There is constant talk about the fact that our bills are going up and our wages are going down, and the cost of bread now costs 12 quid. You know, if you buy a coffee from Costa, you need to take out a mortgage. Yeah, the world is just
constant negativity, just constant.
You know what? Actually, my doctor said something to me once. It was like the world is just so negative that it pushes people down this dark path. Of course, they're going to be surrounded by negative whenever they watch the news, and it's negative. You know, of course, it is, because you know, just like the media, it influences us in some way or form. So if we're constantly surrounding ourselves with negativity.
Don't be surprised if you start thinking negatively.
Yes, that's it. It's that train of thought process, isn't it? And that's why I relate that back to the be kind mantra I have. Be that cog that changes the wheel. But, you know, the world is a dark place, let's be honest. You know, there's some fantastic and beautiful and amazing things in it. But there's also a lot of darkness as well. There's a lot of negativity. So it's important to look for the positive and not focus on the negative. Because with every negative, there's a positive.
Yeah.
Do you know, for every dark, then there's a beautiful thing.
Literally a physics law. For every force that exists, there's an equal and opposite to it.
And you can tell I didn't do well in physics. I'm presuming you did well in physics, Anton. Of course you did.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But no, Anton hit the nail right on the head there, you know. And it's just really important just to stress that we're, as a staff member, you know, it's our job to listen.
Yeah.
You know, I don't turn people away and for any reason, you know. I don't look at someone thinking, oh, this isn't business related. I'm not going to talk to you about it. We're teachers, we're lecturers, we're mentors, we are leaders. We are shaping the future generation. And, you know, as well as looking after your brain, we also want to be looking after your heart as well.
The feels, but,
you know, but the mantra is still, and the statement is still very much the same. We should be looking out for one another. And the college, you know, let's be honest, we are an open college. Yeah. There are a lot of people that come to this college. We see them day in and day out, walking in and out. You know, you never know what any of those people are going through. You never know what anybody is thinking at any given time. You know, we only see the way that they act in that snapshot that we see them. You know, think to your lessons. You see people, 10 hours a week? Mm-hmm. You only see that 10 hours of how they're feeling. You don't see them outside of college. You don't see them what they're like at home. So you don't know what's going on at home. You don't see them out with their friends. So you don't know what's going on with their friends or with their partners or et cetera, et cetera. So we see that snapshot. So similar to me as a teacher, it's difficult to gauge sometimes, but you know, it's important to jump on anything, not physically, not literally, but it's important to really action things early, quickly, or at least engage in that conversation. So I feel like I've been talking for absolutely ages, and I know I have. So you know, let's shut me up for a bit. So Charlotte and Anton, and feel free you don't need to answer this if you don't want to, but do you feel that mental health is prominent at Hull College?
Absolutely. We're a college. The age range is typically, you know, those that are growing up, those that are going into the world now. That mental health is very important for all of them. And I feel like that's very important to have that support in the college for those people.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hit the nail on the head.
I agree absolutely with my co-star there. Mental health is absolutely important because, again, whatever happens up there in your head, I mean, that ultimately affects how you act and how you analyze situations and how you experience things around you. So, of course, I mean, what's the point of being physically healthy if you have some small little issues that you need to deal with? And again, it could be all sorts of things. Everything from just, you know, like these little, like, negative thoughts that just get stuck in your head. You know, we all have them. You know, we just keep thinking about it. Like, it's just things like that. Like again, like, you have to understand that sometimes you just have to stop concentrating about them. Like, again, don't think about things that affect you in a negative way. Like, don't think about it. Focus on something more positive. Focus on something that actually helps you. You just have to stay on the positive. Just think about good things that actually help you.
So it's so easy to get overwhelmed, isn't it? It happens to all of us at some form and somewhere at some time in our lives where we think about stuff. But, it is easy to get overwhelmed. And that just goes back to my kindness mantra.
Yeah.
Not that I'm saying that kindness is the answer to everything, but,
It's a stepping stone.
that's it. And sometimes that first step is always the most difficult for a lot of people. It's mental health is a journey. It's a race with no goal. It's a process. It's not something that is going to be solved easily, I suppose. There's no magic conversation. There's nothing that anyone can do. And I also believe that there's no cure as well. It's one of them things that it stays with us for good or for bad. But
you can make the burden easier to bear.
That's it. Exactly. You are, regardless of what you're going through and how you're going through it, there is support. There is so much that we can all do to lighten the load and just support one another going through it, because tomorrow the sun shines again. I once read a book called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and it's all about what can you do about things if you're worried about them, and it's aimed at things on the news, such as like, what can we do about it? Nothing. So it's small stuff, and it helps put things in perspective. And sometimes I think that's just what a lot of people need.
And besides, at the end of the day, if the sun is still shining and you're still breathing, that's good. That's already a good and first reason why you should keep going.
Absolutely. If you've got a roof over your head and food in your belly, you're already doing better than
a large portion of
40% of the population in the world.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't have that, and that's still not okay. Don't get me wrong, but we have to put things in perspective, if you will, and it's difficult to do when you're sort of stuck in that mantra and you're stuck in the process, and when it's really eating at you. It's important to know that there is support, and if anybody is going through anything at the college, come speak to me. I'm in room 812. I never get any visitors unless I've done something wrong. So yeah, or somebody wants me to do something. Looking at you, Daniel Phillips. Nobody ever visits me for any reason. So come see me. We'll have a chat. Bring food. Or ask me, or let me know you're coming and I'll bring food. I don't care.
Just bring food.
Just bring food. Just bring food. We'll have a chat. Regardless of whether or not you're a student or whether you're a staff member, I'll have a good chat. So, my door's always open, and I would imagine about every other staff member's door's always open as well, So, if you are going anything, speak to someone. You can help, even if it's just a friend, even if it's just a colleague or a staff member or counsellor. Again, with the email address, listen@hull-college.ac.uk. You can help, we can support. Even over summer, we don't go into harding, but teachers don't hibernate over summer. We're still here, we're still employed. Still got a job to do. These lessons don't plan themselves, and there's lots of stuff that teachers have to do during the summer. So we are still here. We are still holding on. So, we don't cut you off. So please speak to us. And anyway, that's kind of all I've got to say on the matter, really.
Yeah, just to reiterate, college is a stressful place.
Yeah.
If you're struggling, get in touch with one of those previously mentioned organisations or your tutors.
Or a friend. Or anyone.
There is support for people out there.
Yeah, for every person, every single person. If you're worried about a friend, it's absolutely fine. Come speak to us. We can help. If you're worried about a family member, come speak to us. We can listen and we can maybe help. But we are here to support 100% all students, of all staff members.
And besides, better than just sitting by yourself in silence and just waiting for it to solve it itself.
Absolutely. Because whilst you might wake up one day feeling better, the problem's not truly resolved. So let us help you resolve it. Anyway, I'll leave you with one simple message. 2 words. Be kind.
Always.
3 words, Anton. Thank you. Be kind always. There we are.
Thank you for listening to the Student Voice at Hull College. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and we will see you later. Goodbye.